Welcome, viewers. Now we have another example under the topic. So unlike the previous examples, all the questions here are in fraction form. So anytime you have surd in fraction form, so the way to solve them is similar. Or when you are working with a surd such that after division and multiplication, you still have part of your denominator as a surd. So what should come to your mind is you rationalize the denominator. You rationalize the denominator. So how do we rationalize the denominator? You rationalize by multiply. You multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of your denominator. And what do I mean by conjugate? Conjugate is that number when you multiply it by a surd, it will change that surd from, surd are irrational numbers. It will change irrational numbers to rational numbers. So that's what we mean by conjugate. Conjugates are what? They are surds. They are also a rational number. When you multiply it by another irrational number, the result will be rational numbers. Now let's take them one after the other. Question number 1, we have 3 divided by square root of 5. We have to simplify this because one thing about this topic is you will not be told the method to use or the procedure. Once the question is simplified, you have to choose the best way to solve the questions. Now here we have it in fraction. The reason why we are rationalizing is because we have surd in fraction form and the denominator is a surd. So because of that, you think of a fraction. And you can see this is already in reduced form. You cannot reduce this further. So what should come to mind is rationalize. Now, how do you rationalize this question? What you need to do, as I said, you are multiplying this by the conjugate. You are multiplying this question and at the same time divide it by what? By the conjugate of the denominator. So now here we have square root of 5 as our denominator. For this one, so you have 3 divided by square root of 5. You are still using square root of 5 to multiply both numerator and denominator. So you say times square root of 5 divided by square root of 5. So, and then the next thing you multiply from the roots of a surd. This 3 cannot multiply the value inside the root. So rather, the value outside. The value outside here is 1. So 3 times 1 is still 3. Square root of 5. Square root of 5 remain inside. Divided by 5 times 5 is 25. Because you can multiply the value inside the root. So square root of 25. And square root of 25 is 5. So you have 3 root 5 divided by 5. Look at the second example here. We have 2 divided by 3 root 6. We can also rationalize this same way. Look at the denominator here. We still have a surd. The only thing is that coefficient here is 3, coefficient here is 1. This one is multiple of 3, this one is just multiple of 1. Now to rationalize this, just same way again, we are multiplying and divide at the same time by the denominator. So you can answer this in 2 ways. So you have 2 divided by 3 root 6. Now, if you like, you can multiply by only square root of 6 and divide by square root of 6. And if you like, at the same time, you can use the whole of what you have in the denominator. But to have it in simple form, so it's better you use that only square root of 6 divided by square root of 6. But if you use the complete what you have here, you are still going to get the same result at the end. Now, 2 multiplied by square root of 6, you have 2 root 6. Here 3 is staying outside, multiplied by 1, so you have divided by 3. But 6 times 6 is what? That's 36. We have square root of 36. Now we have 3 root, sorry. So you have 2 root 6 divided by 3 is outside already. So square root of 36 is 6. So multiply by 6. So we can simplify this further. 2 here 1. 2 in 6. That's 3. Please don't use this 6 to divide 6 inside the root. Because 6 inside the root cannot divide the value outside the root according to the rules of surd. Now we have just 1 root 6, which is just square root of 6 divided by 3 times 3, and that is 9. So meaning the final result is square root of 6 divided by 9. Now we move to the next question. Now look at this third example here. 4 plus square root of 3. You know, earlier I said when you are rationalizing, you multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. And the first 2 examples we have the conjugate of 25. The least among the conjugate of 5 is still a 5. Conjugate of this one is still a 6. Square root of 6. Now, but here now we have a number plus. So whenever you are given a number plus or a number minus surd or surd plus surd or surd minus surd, are you getting this now? So the conjugate will just be changing sign, the sign in the middle. If you are adding before, your conjugate will be difference of these two. What I mean by difference, look at this. We have 2 divided by 4 plus square root of 3. Now, you know, we are multiplying by the conjugate, just like here we use square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 6. But here now, you are not going to use the same value. The conjugate of this one will now be when the sign here is minus. If the sign here was a minus before, so the conjugate of this will be plus. But here now, it's already plus, so the conjugate will be minus. So now you multiply by 4 minus square root of 3 divided by 4 minus square root of 3. So that was the conjugate. If you have a square root of 3 minus 1, you have this. Conjugate of this one will be square root of 3 plus 1. So conjugate here is just changing the sign in the middle. By the time because once you multiply this by this, you have difference of 2 square. At the end, you are still going to get a rational number without square root. Now, let's multiply. So you are using 2 to multiply everything here. I can just write 2 and open the bracket. 4 minus square root of 3. Close it. Divided by, now, when you are multiplying a number, a surd, by the conjugate, especially of this form, what that simply means is you have difference of 2 square. So you square, you know, you have 4 plus 4 minus here. So just square the first number minus square of the second number. The first number here is 4. Second number is square root of 3. So minus square of the second number. Square it. Now we can simplify this further again. So we have 2. You can open the bracket now. If you like, you can still leave it. 4 minus square root of 3 divided by square. 4 square is 16. Square root of 3 square, that is 9. Square root of 9. And square root of 9 is 3. So now you have 2, 4 minus square root of 3 divided by 16 minus this, and that is 13. And here is your final result. And if you wish, you can further open the bracket here. So 4 times 2 times 4, that is 8, minus 2 multiplied by square root of 3, and that is 2 root 3. Everything over 13. And this is your final result. This is your final result. Now, let's consider the last question. The last question, we have 3 root 5 divided by square root of 10 minus square root of 2. So what this simply means is, just like this example, you rationalize again because you're having surd in the denominator. And here you're having difference of 2 surds. So the sign here will change when you are multiplying by the conjugate. So you change the conjugate of this is just square root of 10 plus square root of 2. So the sign will change. So now we have 3 root 5. I'm just trying to copy the question again now. Square root of 10 minus square root of 2. Multiply by, so now the conjugate of this will now be square root of 10 plus square root of 2 divided by square root of 10 plus square root of 2. Now, we open the bracket and we multiply again. Yeah, we are using this to multiply everything. So I have 3 square root of 5, open bracket, square root of 10 plus square root of 2 divided by, now just like this example here, we have the same value but the sign in the middle are different. They are not the same. Now it's the same case here. What that simply means is just difference of 2 square again. So now we have square root of 10 square the first number minus square of the second number. Now we can open the bracket, and if you like you can do that at the end. So we have 3 root 5 open bracket square root of 10 plus square root of 2 divided by 10 square is 100, square root of 100 is 10 again. The same thing, that will be 2 because 2 square is 4, square root of 4 is still 2. Now, yeah, let's open the bracket. We are using the value in outside to multiply everything in the bracket. Normal expansion. We are using 3 root 5 to multiply square root of 10. That will be 3 root 50. Because 3 cannot multiply 10, but 5 inside the root can multiply square root of 10. Plus, use 3 root 5 again to multiply square root of 2. You have 3 outside, but you have a square root of 10 divided by 10 minus this, and that is 8. Look at this 10. We cannot reduce this 10 because there is no any perfect square that can divide 10. Perfect square different from 1. But here, 25 can divide it, so we can further reduce this one as 3. So 25 times 2 is 50. And square root, square root of 25 is 5. So that 5 will come out. We have square root of 2 outside. Then plus 3 square root of 10. Everything over 8. Again, or finally, 5 times 3 is 15. Square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 10. Everything divided by 8. And this is your final result. This is your final result. This is your final result. So we have so many examples again. So but for this class, this is the end of the class. So in the next lesson, we consider another case that is entirely different from this. So